This is a video that I had been wanting to do, to possibly give people some heads up on some things that might happen out there, but I had to wait because I wasn't sure if the agency still existed, and it looks like they are gone forever, so I can talk about them. Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about an experience that I had with a particular agency. Just because the way that the interaction between me and them was handled and the way it went about was unorthodox and a little bizarre. And so I want people to kind of have an idea of different kinds of things to expect out there. And it was between me and an agency in Austin known as DB Talent, a company, an agency that I had my eye on ever since I moved to Austin and was constantly trying to get in touch with. Every time I had updated my demos, I would send them out to DB Talent. They were definitely one of them that I would always send them out to. Now, this interaction was actually about a year and a half ago, so enough time has passed that, because it's not necessarily a good thing to gripe about agencies. And this isn't necessarily going to be a gripe. Again, I'm just trying to give you guys information and a heads up on some things that you might not even know to expect. And my interaction with them wasn't entirely negative, but it was very, very weird. And it did kind of make me very cautious and very skeptical, basically, from this moment on. So that's what I'm telling you guys. So I had been constantly sending out my demos and been in touch with DB Talent, who are completely gone now. And I had constantly been getting nothing. And then one day, this was probably about 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, they finally messaged me wanting to set up a one-on-one Skype session with me and an agent. And finally set it up. I had a one-on-one. They gave me some scripts to read for some characters and for some types of commercials and stuff like that to kind of test me. And because of my dyslexia, that was a deal breaker. Basically, I didn't know that I was going to be given scripts to do some dry reads on, and I am not good at dry reads. I need some time with it to familiarize myself with the script. And after she handed it to me and was just like, come on, let's go, do this. And I couldn't deliver. I was able to, perform as the character totally fine, but I was stumbling over the words. This was making me very anxious, and she eventually asked, do you have dyslexia or something? And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, yeah, we can't put you officially on our roster if you got dyslexia. And I was like, okay. I had never heard of that being a deal breaker. I'd never heard that was a problem. And I've talked about this before. I've talked that there's been agents in the past. This wasn't the only one, but there's been agents in the past that refused to work with me because of my dyslexia. This was one of them. And so then time had gone by. I thought I'd completely lost my shot. I had kind of pumped the brakes on sending out my demos to agents for a while. And then finally, I got an email from DB Talent, and they sent me some auditions. And I was wildly confused because I thought that they didn't see me as, being able to be worked with. And, I did the audition. The gig would have paid well, so, I was like, I want to go ahead and audition for this. But then I also asked them, I was like, do y'all represent me now or something? And their response was, we don't officially represent you, but we have I don't remember what it called. I think it was like an overflow list of talent. Basically, the idea was if they got a project to fill out a cast list for, and they don't have enough talent that fits those roles, they have a list of backups, basically bench warmers or that guy off in the sidelines that's, just swinging, balls into the net that, maybe he gets to go bat, maybe not, who knows. That kind of thing. And so I went ahead and did the audition, and I got the role. And it was, this was a audition for Wasteland 3. And the role that I got was small, but it was a lot of fun. Basically, there is this village of all robots, all AI, that are basically all sentient, and they have their own personality, and they're independent. And I've yet to play the game. I've never actually found my character, but there was a friend who had played it, and he was like, "You're in this game." And the character, whatever, the robot, just in case you've played it and never find him, let me know. You pass by this conversation, and there's like a whole bunch of robots, and they're talking about a robot orgy. It's just robots plugging into this big thing and sharing consciousness or whatever. It's really weird. It's probably more like them doing drugs or whatever. But there's this one robot that's like really skittish and doesn't want to do it. He's like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound like very Woody Allen kind of thing. Just doesn't. I don't want to interface with people that I'm unfamiliar with. I don't remember if that was the voice that I did because it was so long ago. But it was a very fun role. It was lots of fun. I got paid way more than I would have expected I would have for as small a role as it was. But regardless, sent that off to them. They sent it to the client, and then I never got paid. I did eventually get paid. I want to go ahead and spoil the ending to that. I did eventually get paid, but I got paid almost a year later. And like a month after I had sent in the work, because this wasn't an audition. I had already done the audition, and I got the role, and then I sent in the work. And then contacted the agency. I was like, am I getting paid? And they told me that the company, the client, didn't use my performance, that they ended up not using it. And I was like, oh, what a bummer. I didn't think they could just back out of it like that. I mean, I already did the work. They already hired me, and we already had a contractual agreement, but sure, okay, I guess. This is one of the problems with working through an agent. I don't get to talk to them. I don't get to make negotiations. I don't get to deal with anybody. There's always a middle man or middle woman or middle person, whatever, that I have to go to, and then they have to contact, and it takes a while to get back to them, and they eventually get back to me. It's kind of ridiculous. So this is one of the things to expect, that there's going to be extra headaches. Getting an agent is not going to be a guaranteed treasure. It's not going to guaranteeably be awesome every single time. There are headaches that come with it. There is a benefit to an agent, obviously, is that they give you a new avenue into a higher class of personnel. Or you have someone that's looking for and/or getting auditions that you may not even know are even out there, and then they're letting you know about it. So you're getting more opportunity, but it's not a guarantee that you'll get any work having an agent. But it is a guarantee that there's going to be some headache. So they eventually contacted them and came back, and they're like, yeah, no, you're not in it. And so I was like, all right, well, whatever. And I went on, and about 6 months later, after the game had basically come out, I see something on my IMDb, because someone had informed me. Someone gave me a heads up on it. The friend who had played the game, and he was like, yeah, I saw your name in the credits and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm not in the game. And he was like, it's on your IMDb. And I was like, what? And I went and looked, and sure enough, Wasteland 3, Robot 3, I think, and on IMDb. So I got credited, and my credits are in the game. And then I had someone confirm. Yeah, I've never been sent footage of it, but someone said, it's like, yeah, no, it sounds like you're in the game. And I contacted the agency, and I asked them, what the hell? What's going on? And they were like, okay, give me a second. They went and contacted the studio, and there was some back and forth, and this took another month or two. And because there was a studio in Tokyo, there was a studio in New York, there was a studio in LA, I think, and there was just studios all over, different producers, different people with too many hands in the pie, too many people signing checks, too many people wanting to give out money, too many people not wanting to give out money, to the point that it was just really confusing. And apparently someone had said that they didn't want to basically pay this much, and so they, was like, oh, okay, then we're not going to use these people. But then they ended up using these people and just not handing out the checks. And I eventually, again, after almost a year, did finally get paid for the gig. And the agent contacted me. We had multiple phone calls. She apologized. And again, all of this, and I wasn't even represented. I don't know if it would have been easier if I was represented officially, or if it would have been more headache. I don't know. I imagine it would have been easier because I would have been more officially on file, but what do I know? And the weird part is, immediately after, I thought that maybe this would have been a way of basically being an intern and slowly working my way into the agency. That's what I was hoping. I was like, oh, maybe if I keep doing a good job and show that I'm patient and totally fine with whatever headaches come my way. And then about a month after I finally got paid, the agency closed down. And they're gone. If this had happened before I had gotten paid, I would have been like, oh, they just grabbed everyone's money and they just ran. Everybody. But no, they didn't. It wasn't the agency. They didn't do this. It was the studio. But weirdly enough, after all this headache, the studio just stopped. And they're gone. And you try going to the website, you go to I don't know, it just takes you to, we can't find it or whatever. And then if you go on Google Maps, it's still technically on Google Maps, but if you look at it, it's just like an empty lot. I don't know. I have no idea. But that was the closest that I had gotten to an agent up to that point. And so this whole story is to tell you that to expect problems, to expect that there's going to be issues, to expect that there's going to be headaches at some point. Don't expect to go into this thinking that everything's going to be hunky-dory. Once you get an agent, they're going to handle everything. It's going to be easy money. That's not going to be the case. Agents are people. Managers are people. Agencies are run by people. Agencies are companies. And anytime you have people, you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have errors, you're going to have flaws, you're going to have people forgetting stuff, you're going to have miscommunication, you're going to have all that. Don't go into it expecting that it's all going to be fine. Go in expecting that there's going to be difficulty and anxiety. Now, hope for the best, obviously, but you need to expect that this stuff is going to happen so that you're ready when it does. You don't need to be expecting that it's all going to be perfectly fine, hunky-dory, because then when tragedy does strike or when difficulty does come your way, you're going to be all disappointed and you're going to be, anxious and you're going to have all these questions and stuff rattling in your head. Expect that not everything is going to be perfect. Not every transaction, not every client, not every audition, not every role. You're going to get tons of headaches, tons of misery, it's going to be a constant slog and beating all the way to the top. All the way. In fact, the more agents and the more clients you have, the more you're going to get this. The absolute more you're going to be tearing your hair out. Agents are great. Getting an agent is awesome. Working with a major studio, fantastic. Feels awesome. But it's going to be stressful. It's going to be agony at points. And that's because there is so much more riding on it. There's so much more that has to be done. There's so many more people to contact. There's so many more hands in the pies. There's so many more middlemen between you and the final product. There's so many more people. When you're working as an independent voice actor, it's a little less stressful in the sense that you can often get instantaneous information because you're working directly with the person who's going to be directing, writing, and producing whatever it is that you're doing. So you can get instant feedback. You don't got to wait for days. You can get instant information. You can get paid immediately. it doesn't got to go through a bank and then a union and then another bank and then, your agent and then finally to you. It can go directly to you. Now, there are benefits, obviously, to one or the other. The benefit of having an agent is that anything involving taxes, paperwork, all that kind of stuff, is it up to code for the union? If it's a union project, they handle all that. They take care of all of that, and it goes through them. And if the client is an asshole, which there's a good chunk of clients that are assholes, if the studio is being just a pain in your ass, the agent has to deal with it, not you. So, hopefully your agent is used to it and they're able to take the beating from the studio, take a deep breath, and then give you the sugar-coated version. So there are benefits, but expect that there's going to be misery. Expect that there's going to be headaches. That's what I want to tell you guys. Again, this doesn't put me off. If DB Talent was to show back up and they wanted to work with me, I'd happily work with them. That didn't put me off from working with agents or with them in particular. Didn't hurt me. It was just it was weird, very weird interaction. So that's kind of it. Not necessarily a horror story, but just kind of a, heads up. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Totally fine. Subscribe if you're new. Bell for notifications. Leave it in the comment section below. Like to see me cover any other topics. Or if you have any questions, leave those down there. I also have my email if you want to ask me any questions there. And yeah, it's going to be it. And until next time, peace.